London in the early 1600s wakes before the sun. A grey mist hangs low over the Thames, clinging to the water like breath on cold glass. Church bells toll faintly through the fog, their sound distorted, distant, as if the city itself is half asleep. From the riverbanks, silhouettes emerge, watermen guiding narrow boats, dockworkers unloading barrels, fishermen calling out to one another in rough voices shaped by wind and drink. The river is London's lifeline, and it never truly rests. The city is crowded, restless, and growing faster than it can understand itself. Timber houses lean inward over narrow streets, upper floors jutting so close together that neighbors could nearly shake hands from their windows. Sunlight struggles to reach the ground. The air smells of damp wood, coal smoke, refuse, and human presence, thousands upon thousands of lives packed into a space never meant to hold them all. London is no longer simply a medieval city. It is becoming something new, something dangerous. Merchants now rival nobles in wealth. Ships arrive from distant lands, Virginia, the Caribbean, the East Indies, bringing tobacco, sugar, spices, and stories of worlds unimaginably vast. The city's pulse quickens with every tide. Markets explode into motion as the day begins. At Cheapside and Smithfield, traders shout prices over one another, voices sharp as knives. Meat hangs from hooks, flies buzzing thickly in warmer months. Bread is weighed carefully. Even a small shortage can spark riots. Hunger is a constant fear, especially among the poor who outnumber the wealthy by far. Apprentices weave through crowds, errand baskets in hand, while beggars line the streets, their faces weathered beyond their years. Above them all, church spires dominate the skyline. Religion is everywhere, spoken, argued, feared. England has broken from Rome, but the wounds are still fresh. Catholics practice in secrecy. Protestants argue among themselves. Sermons thunder about sin, obedience, and the end of days. God feels close in London, but not comforting, more like a watchful judge. The city's governance struggles to keep pace with its growth. Laws exist, but enforcement is uneven. Crime thrives in the shadows. Pickpockets, fraudsters, brothel keepers, smugglers. At night, lanterns glow faintly along main roads, but many alleys remain pitch black. After sunset, London transforms. Respectable citizens lock their doors. Taverns fill with laughter, fights, and whispered deals. Theaters draw crowds hungry for drama, tragedy, and escape. This is the age of Shakespeare, and his London is alive with language. Words spill from playhouses like the Globe, mixing poetry with violence, humor with despair. The crowd roars at kings falling and fools rising, perhaps seeing their own unstable world reflected on stage. Art flourishes even as disease lurks unseen. Plague is the city's constant specter. Every cough raises suspicion. Red crosses may appear overnight on doors, marking houses sealed shut. Death carts roll through streets, bells ringing grim warnings. The living step aside as bodies are hauled away. Survival feels temporary, fragile, earned one day at a time. Yet despite everything, filth, fear, inequality, London draws people in. It promises work, opportunity, reinvention. For many, the city is cruel. For others, it is destiny. And as the sun finally burns through the fog, illuminating the river and rooftops, London stands awake, loud, alive, and unstoppable. To understand London in the 1600s, one must look not only at its grand buildings and royal processions, but at the lives lived between them, in cramped rooms, noisy streets, and forgotten corners. Most Londoners are not wealthy merchants or nobles. They are laborers, servants, apprentices, widows, and children working long before adulthood. Homes are small and overcrowded. A single room may hold an entire family, sometimes with lodgers besides. Privacy barely exists. Smoke from hearth fires fills the air, stinging eyes and lungs. Clean water is hard to come by. Waste is often thrown into the streets, where it mixes with mud and rain. Disease spreads easily in such conditions, and many do not live past middle age. Children grow up fast. Boys are apprenticed young, bound to masters for years of labor in exchange for training. Girls help at home or enter service in other households. Education exists, but mostly for the privileged. For the poor, survival is the curriculum. Mistakes are punished harshly, by masters, by courts, by the city itself. Punishment is public and theatrical. Stocks and pillories stand in prominent places. Criminals are displayed, mocked, sometimes beaten by crowds. Executions draw spectators like festivals. At Tyburn, gallows loom as a reminder of the state's power. Justice is swift, often unforgiving. Theft can mean death. Yet London is not only suffering, it is also joy, resilience, and rhythm. Taverns serve as social centers, places to drink ale, share news, gamble, and forget hardship for a few hours. Music spills into streets. Ballads are sung aloud, telling stories of love, crime, and tragedy. Laughter survives even in poverty. Women navigate a difficult world. Legal rights are limited, yet many manage businesses, run taverns, sell goods at market. Widows, especially, can wield surprising independence. Still, reputation is fragile, and accusations, especially of immorality, can destroy lives. Fear of witchcraft lingers, though less violently than in rural areas. Theaters offer escape and reflection. Audiences are mixed, nobles beside laborers, all united in story. The stage becomes a mirror, reflecting ambition, betrayal, power, and human weakness. In a city changing faster than anyone can control, stories help people make sense of chaos. Foreigners arrive daily: Dutch traders, French refugees, African servants, sailors from every coast. London is becoming global, though not without tension. Xenophobia rises alongside opportunity. Accents are mocked. Customs are distrusted. Yet trade depends on diversity, even if acceptance lags behind reality. As night falls, danger increases. Watchmen patrol with halberds and lanterns, calling out the hours. But crime slips through gaps. Fires are constant threats, and with buildings packed tightly together, a single spark can destroy entire neighborhoods. Buckets and hooks stand ready, but prevention is fragile. Still, each morning, the city rebuilds itself. Londoners endure because they must. The city grinds them down, but it also gives them purpose. Every life, however small, becomes part of a massive, living organism, one that feeds on ambition, labor, and hope. Above the streets, beyond the markets and alleys, power reshapes London in the 1600s. The monarchy looms large, yet its authority is no longer absolute. Kings rule by divine right, but Parliament grows bolder, more vocal. Ideas, dangerous ideas, begin to circulate. Questions once unthinkable are whispered, then spoken aloud. London becomes the heart of political tension. Pamphlets flood the city, cheap and incendiary. Literacy spreads just enough to make words powerful weapons. Coffeehouses emerge as centers of debate, places where merchants, thinkers, and agitators exchange news and arguments. Information moves faster than ever before, and control slips. Religion remains a fault line. Puritans push for reform, seeing corruption everywhere. Royalists defend tradition and order. Sermons are no longer just spiritual, they are political acts. Faith and governance intertwine so tightly that to question one is to threaten the other. The city watches the monarchy closely. Royal processions still inspire awe, but also scrutiny. Extravagance contrasts sharply with widespread poverty. Resentment grows quietly. The idea that authority can be challenged begins to take root, nurtured by hardship and inequality. Economically, London surges forward. The foundations of capitalism strengthen. Joint stock companies expand risk and reward. The East India Company becomes a symbol of global reach and moral ambiguity. Wealth flows into the city, but unevenly. For every mansion built, thousands struggle to survive. Architecture reflects ambition. Stone buildings rise alongside timber ones. Grand halls, churches, and bridges announce permanence. Yet fires and decay constantly threaten these achievements. London is always building, always repairing, never finished. The English Civil War approaches like a distant storm. When it comes, London will not merely observe, it will shape the outcome. The city's population, wealth, and ideas make it a decisive force. The streets that once echoed with market cries will carry marching feet. Even after conflict, London endures. The Great Fire of 1666 will nearly erase it, but from the ashes, a new city will rise, wider streets, grander visions, stronger foundations. The 1600s are a crucible, burning away the medieval past and forging something modern. London is no longer just a city, it is a force. It absorbs people, ideas, cultures, and conflict, transforming them into momentum. The London of the 1600s is chaotic, cruel, brilliant, and alive, a city on the edge of the old world, staring into the future. And in its noise, smoke, and ambition, the modern world quietly begins.